What I'm going to talk about today is nothing new. We've all heard it this morning already, from the beautiful meditation and the spirit song and the reading and Dave's invocation. This is just the Science of Mind version by Ernest Holmes. So this is what I studied for years and many other books. But if you're interested, we have a nice selection in the library of Science of Mind material. And yeah, that's what Ernest Holmes did. He compiled all of these wisdoms and traditions from around the world back in the early 1900s and found this common thread, all of these commonalities that are being taught and practiced from the different religious paths and the indigenous wisdom. And so today, I'm just going to simply focus in on this particular technique called the treatment prayer. And it is a bit of an analytical mansplaining kind of tool. It is useful. It is what has guided me and lifted my life over the decades. And today's talk is basically a prayer. If you were to go to a religious science practitioner, you might get something similar. Let my words be your words. I speak in the first person pronoun as much as possible, but I find myself slipping and jumping all around, so bear with that. But as I read or speak this prayer, you may use the first person in your own mind as you go through this walk, this deep walk through a prayer forest, 5-step affirmative prayer. So as we start our walk, I will use many descriptors of a forest, but you may want to conjure up a different scene, something that is safe and beautiful. Make it your own. In this journey, we quickly recognize that there is beauty all around. The colors are so vibrant that they seem to be sourced from a place beyond. My eyes widen with every step. I can safely plant my foot on the path that automatically clears before me. So I can keep my eyes looking up, sideways, and all around in order to take in the infinite array of blessings that abound. There are even the tiniest creatures and objects that are hidden beneath the leaves and the tree stumps. I am called to stoop and examine these wonders. I'm amazed at the intricate details. All of this activity is coordinated with perfection. All supply is readily available. And with that deep breath, I rise up and continue on my path, and I recognize that each being is a speck of light and love. Surprisingly, I now find that this path has risen into the air, and I am lifted up to the treetops. The sky is endless above me, and I don't really need my body anymore, but I assume it's there. I'm able to move and turn, ascend and descend with utmost ease. I am here to simply see and learn, and to recognize and to relearn the phenomena that I am life, endless and abundant. I am surrounded by this source that automatically gives of itself freely. It is the wellspring of an abundant flow that never empties itself. It cannot be depleted or destroyed. It is the universal creative life force, or life power. It is transformative, and it is the basis of change, evolution, rejuvenation, regeneration. Take a moment with me right now to just simply be here now for a few seconds. There is nothing broken here. I invite you to mark this point in your memory with something to recall later. An altar to this moment of recognition. Maybe a symbol or a word, a scene, a jewel, maybe an imaginary handful of dirt, a star. Maybe a place in your body that is especially energized right now. Savor this touchstone for later retrieval. It will be a reminder that God is all there is. Wouldn't it be wonderful to reside in this consciousness all the time? There is no brokenness here, and there is no place where the presence of God is absent. If this is true, that God is all there is, then it must follow that God is present in me and permeates throughout all that I am, energizing all that I think, say, and do, which we now walk into step 2, unification. Our next steps don't even look like walking. We are floating on this all-inclusive, expansive, unformed path. We feel our body fall away, similar to the way we may drop our clothes before getting in the shower. My body literally merges into the spaciousness all around. I can touch the stars as if I am touching a piece of jewelry. I can choose a ring or a necklace or maybe a beautiful hair adornment. Breathe in the feeling of being filled up. Feel the lightness of floating and drifting throughout the cosmos amongst the galaxies. I am the infinite light and love. Barriers do not exist here. No efforts are even needed to be unified with universal spirit. It is a truth of who I am and what I am. I am free of any constraints and limitations. So again, breathe in. I invite you to feel the wonderment, the awe, the unification, nothing separating me from spirit. I want to see more. With that thought, I am now resting in the top of a humongous tree that has branches reaching beyond the earthly plane. I am one with this tree. The wide-reaching branches are my fingertips. My toes are its roots absorbing the life-sustaining minerals from the deep earth. I am the earth. The mountains, the oceans, the totality of all there is. I am the rainstorms that crash across the plains, and I am the soft morning sunrise that ignite each day. Take a real deep, conscious breath. There is something that is very natural about feeling at ease with this flow. And it flows through each of us, uniquely individualized. We are all different, yet all one. One with the mysterious galaxies as well as the tiniest invisible forces of electrons, protons, waves, particles and waves. All the many multitudes in the universe are encapsulated in the mind of God. We are hugged in the cosmic arms of a warm, safe, protective, unifying embrace of love. We are not single, separate, or disengaged from this thing. We are so close. This essence, interconnected and unified, is our being. I invite you to think with me on the following ideas. I am one with it all, the depth and breadth of the known world and the unknown world. I am one with all of this power and all of the pain. I have my being in this whole, complete, perfectly intertwined, perfectly balanced, light-filled, infinite forest of possibilities. Doesn't it make sense that God is walking me, breathing me, providing me with the same wellspring of possibilities? My mind is one and the same as God's mind. We operate the same. All I think, say, and do flows through the very same creative field and power that God is, and offers to me without conditions, without fail, freely and forever. I am, and I can do all of the stuff from step one. Be here now. There is nothing broken here. Mark this point, this feeling, with that same symbol or word that you came up with at the end of step one. We will retrieve it later. Wouldn't it be wonderful to live here all the time? Now I invite you to continue saunter on down the path as I take a moment to explain a couple of details about the next step. It often is called the declaration step, and we use present tense wording. Remember not to use too many details or you may appear too controlling. And these words are spoken with conviction. That is why it's called a declaration. It is not an asking step, nor is it a hoping for step. It requires confidence and a strong faith of what we just established in the first two steps. Any barriers to manifesting our desires can be tricky because of our unconscious attitudes and beliefs that we carry from our childhood, from society, those persistent, outdated paradigms. Therefore, in this step, we also need to declare that these limiting beliefs are negated so that the container of ourself is free and clear to be permeated by the flow of spirit. It is not me or you or us that do the manifesting. It is God that flows itself into our bodies and into our conditions. That is the quality of omnipresence. The all-knowing, the omniscient power is already on it. You can say that God has our back. Well, God has our front and our sides and everything in and through. There is a Japanese branch of Mahayana Buddhism called Nichiren Buddhism. It's located or originated in Japan, but they specifically believe that everyone can change their destiny and bring about the effects they desire. Followers are encouraged to write their personal goals down on a piece of paper and have it in front of them while chanting. The aim of the practice is to establish high states of self-development. It's not about a bigger bank account or attracting a partner or fixing an illness. It is about realizing that I am one with God, and that is why Ernest Holmes really calls this step the realization step, to realize the truth that I am God in expression. To realize it at the level of physical sensation in my body, my bones, my circumstances, my relationships, in my mind, the one mind. So let me join you on the walk. As we continue along the path of unformed substance, the only stuff that makes up this path is love and law. Outside of this path, we may see all the woes and all the wrongs and all the conditions that are bringing us down. But this step, the realization step, is all about staying on this path where we can bring form to the formless with our thoughts and consciousness. If I want abundance, I think about the forms of abundance. If we want peace, we think, talk, and act with peace. This is true of any quality you want to see in your life. So I invite you to conjure up something in your life that may be lacking or a belief that you want to dislodge. And let's infuse that condition with the infinite supply of spirit. God has enough prosperity, peace, joy, health to spare, and it is supplying it now, infusing it right now into that condition. See and feel the darkness leave and the light fill up. I invite you to think of the following ideas with me. This prayer is really only for one thing, and that is to change our mind about our limitations to a mindset of possibilities. To ground our consciousness into the allness of spirit which acts on all of our thoughts, all of them. So watch what kinds of thoughts you have for the rest of the day. On this path, we only want to declare and know that whatever we think is broken is no longer broken. Because remember, there is no brokenness in spirit. I heard it say one time, there's no junk in God. The broken stuff is only a broken thought or a mistaken definition that we have bought into. With that in mind, identify that condition again that you think is broken, and let's walk it down the path so that God can infuse it. It's going to put itself right into that condition you are carrying. Maybe hold it up to the light, hold it close to your heart, in your mind, and just let God flow into it. Visualize it if that's your style. Use words, feelings. Be one with the recognition that God is all there is. I'll just put that aside for a minute, because as we move into steps 4 and 5, release and gratitude, these are interchangeable. I like to use gratitude next because it's just the natural progression of this process. The mechanics of gratitude are familiar. We give thanks for that which is already received. Give thanks for an acceptance of what is and what is flowing into our lives at all times. It is the belief that goes all the way back to the truths of step 1 and 2. God is, and there is only one God, and I am one with God. And this gratitude just acknowledges the constant thread of life and power and love that is continually expressing itself throughout the cosmos and throughout me. Thankful for the response that is always available, always pushing itself into expression. What's available are the qualities of grace, infinite source and supply, divine perfect timing, and so much more. So let's end this prayer with release. The words are specifically, I release these words into the law of mind. And that means that this law is an infallible law, like the law of gravity, and it always responds 100%. The law of attraction and the law of cause and effect are similar, and this is a very predictable law. In this release step, we give up any idea of doubt. We let our words flow into the cosmos and simply rest in a state of calm expectation and trust as we go about our lives. No need to pick away at the details or fret about what may or may not happen. I tend to always reside in steps 1 and 2, so I don't have to worry about my desire. It's already there. I just need to uncover the barriers to it, and I just let it go. Now, recall that talisman or that symbol or word or feeling that we set up in steps 1 and 2. Whenever you are feeling low or in doubt, that you will retrieve this symbol and remind yourself of your infinite nature, and to release any worries about the manifestations that you pray for or desire or need. The universe has been set in motion to conspire with all the pieces and all the moving parts that are needed to express them. We're slowly and gracefully walking out of the forest now, concluding our prayerful walk. We have a feeling of vulnerability and mystery, but we are also filled with a sense that we are part of a divine intervention story that has way more possibilities in it than I could possibly make happen. Spirit is always there upon us like a cloak of love. Feel this love wrap in and through your heart and mind. It sustains our sense of trust that even if the manifestation folds slowly or surprisingly, we are always safely grounded on this path of infinite possibilities. We are called to be vulnerable and open to something greater. To truly let go is to truly trust in the knowledge of who we are. And all that is left to say is, thank you for this walk. And so it is. Amen. And mic drop. But with humility, vulnerability, and confidence and power. And so it is. Namaste. Thank you.